Hi, my name is Jacob Chapman, and today I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on beginning trumpet playing. Now, this is my trumpet here, but we aren't going to quite start on the instrument itself. Instead, we're just going to talk about some ideas and definitions to keep in mind before we actually reach for our instrument. Now, the first thing that I would like to talk about is the muscles in our face that we have to use while playing our instrument. Unlike woodwind instruments like the saxophone or the clarinet, brass instruments have to use their face muscles to produce the sound. In a saxophone or a clarinet or even an oboe, the little piece of wood in the ligature is actually the piece that vibrates and makes the sound, and through the rest of the instrument it gets projected out. In brass instruments, it's not this easy. Unfortunately, we have to use our own faces to produce this noise, and mainly our lips. Mainly our lips are the piece that vibrates just like it would in a saxophone or another woodwind instrument. Now, the muscles that we use in our face to produce this noise is called an embouchure. And a good way to get started figuring out what that embouchure should feel like is with the half smile kissy face. This might sound a little bit silly at first, but it'll make more sense as I go along. Now let me demonstrate this half kissy smile face type of thing. So what we want to do is make a kissy face, a smile face, and the way our embouchure is going to sit is going to be somewhere right in between the two. I'll demonstrate. So kissy face, smile, and right in between the two is right where our embouchure is going to be, somewhere around here. Now that we kind of have our embouchure set and ready to go, we can feel what that feels like, and our corners are tight here, and the rest of our face is generally relaxed. We can talk about how to start producing a noise on our mouthpiece. Before we even grab the mouthpiece, we're going to talk about this concept called M-pu. M-pu is just a way to state how we're going to start our notes on our instrument. I'll demonstrate real quick for you. So it's going to be M, M, as you can hear, I had a little buzz on that one last there. And once you get comfortable doing this, making the M-pu and blowing your air throughout your chops like that, it'll be a good idea to pick up your mouthpiece, and we'll try to do a little bit of buzzing. This here is a trumpet mouthpiece, and when talking about placement of the mouthpiece on the lips, there's a couple rules of thumb that we would like to follow. I'm going to get a little closer so you can see. Now, when placing the trumpet mouthpiece on your lips, you want it to be the lips to be somewhere halfway in between the mouthpiece. You don't want your upper lip to be all the way towards the bottom, and you don't want your bottom lip to be all the way up towards the top. Here's what it kind of looks like on my lips. So first, I'm going to set my embouchure, half kissy face, half smile. And I'm going to place the mouthpiece on my lips. Go ahead and try that and see what that feels like. But our basic goal here is to find a spot on our lips that is comfortable to have on our chops, but that is also going to be effective. Now, when producing a noise on the mouthpiece, mostly we would like to hold the mouthpiece in our non-dominant hand. We're going to place the mouthpiece on our chops with our half kissy smile face, and then into the mouthpiece, we are going to produce the M-pu attack that we were talking about before, but into the mouthpiece itself. Make sure you take a big breath and use lots of air on this first go to try to get a noise out. I'll go ahead and give you an example now. Don't forget to wet the chops before. Kind of give your lips a little bit of saliva on them to let them move around a little bit easier. And let's try that again. I'm going to do it this way now so you can kind of see what's going on a little bit better. Now, if the sound is a little unfocused at first, that's okay. We will get on to producing more focused noise or a more focused tone later as we learn how this buzzing technique kind of works. If you are not getting a buzz at all, I would recommend taking a larger breath and make sure you take your breath through your nose. So set your chops, take a big breath through your nose, and push more air as much as you can. Don't think a bad way to think about is pressing into your face super hard to create a buzz or clenching your face muscles so much to create a buzz. We want to focus on the breath and the support of the air going through our instrument. I'll give you one more example of this, and I'm going to really take a big breath this time and see if we'll notice a difference. Once you get comfortable with this buzz and you are starting to create some good tones, it'll be a smart idea to try to raise the tone or lower the tone at will. I'll give an example of this as well, and then you try it yourself. Now that we kind of have an idea of what we're doing with the mouthpiece here, we can try to match some notes on the piano, or we can pick up our instrument and start playing the trumpet. But now we're going to grab our trumpet and we're going to play some notes. So go ahead and grab your instrument, grab your trumpet, and we're going to take the mouthpiece and we're going to place it into what is called the lead pipe. And just place it right in, just like that. And we're going to want to give it just a little twist just so it doesn't fall out. You don't want to put too much pressure or too much twist, and then you'll get your mouthpiece stuck, and you'll be running to your band director to ask you to help him get it out. When we first pick up this thing, we might not know how the heck to hold it, how to play it. So a good rule of thumb is that your left hand is going to be the dominant holding hand on your instrument. If you have smaller hands, the grip I'm about to show you will probably work best for you. Now, using your right hand, just hold the trumpet so you don't drop it. But with the left hand, I will show you where the finger placement should be. Our left thumb is going to want to go in this little ring right here, which we like to call the saddle. So the thumb goes into the saddle. You want your index finger to go around this valve here to kind of create a grip like this. And you can even place your other finger on that valve as well. And now if you see this little ring right here, that's where we want our ring finger to go. So thumb in the saddle, 2 fingers on the valves, ring finger and the ring finger, and that's how we hold the trumpet with our left hand. Now if you have bigger hands and your fingers are kind of getting jammed up in here, a lot of other players like to hold their instrument like this, with 2 fingers below these tubes over here, the third valve slide, or like this, with their pinky down on the bottom under the third valve slide. Just try different combinations, and whatever's most comfortable for you is probably what you would like to do. Now, for the right hand, switch the trumpet around. The right hand, it's much simpler than the left. Our thumb is going to go in between the valve number 1 and number 2. Just it's going to rest right inside there, kind of something like that. Our fingers are going to go on top of the buttons. And then we have this little guy on the top here. Mostly we'd like our pinky up on the top. If we have our pinky in here, it might cause some bad habits with pulling our trumpet forward into our chops. And that's really a habit we would not like to build. So a good way to avoid this is just keeping your pinky up here like a little pedestal. Now that we kind of have a good idea of how to buzz on the mouthpiece, what our embouchure feels like, and how to hold our instrument, it's time to play a couple first notes on our instrument. So pick up your instrument. Remember that grip that we had with both of our hands and where those fingers are going. And then let's remember how to create our embouchure. Kissy smile face, right? And so we're going to do the same thing that we were doing on just the mouthpiece, but into the whole instrument. And we're going to see what kind of sound we're going to get out of it. So, putting the trumpet up to my face, I'm going to remember half kissy, half smile, and then M-poo into the mouthpiece, into the rest of the trumpet. So I'll give you an example of what that's like. Now I just played a G on the trumpet, but if you can't quite get up to this note yet, you are probably playing a concert B flat or a C on the trumpet. And I'll go show you an example of what that might sound like. Now, if you're having trouble getting a noise out of the trumpet, but you are getting a buzz on the mouthpiece, just make sure to push more air through your chops to get your lips to vibrate. If you are not getting a noise on either of them, just remember to keep your chops kind of more in this type of range than more of a kissy face type of range. You want to keep the chops together and let the air part the chops. If your lips are too far apart before you even begin playing, as you begin to push air through your lips, they're going to become even farther apart, and there's not going to be any way that your lips are going to be able to vibrate. Well, I hope you found this introduction to the trumpet helpful, and thank you for watching this video. Have a good day.